Another day, another new meta ads release, but this one is actually very exciting because it helps you get in front of the exact people that you want to be getting in front of, because they're the ones that give you the most money. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. All right, so this update is the meta value rules. So this is a very exciting one because unlike a lot of the recent updates, which some of them have been pretty good, and I've covered many of them on this channel, but at the end of the day, a lot of the updates that they've been doing over the last like 1 to 2 years, they give you less control, right? It's all about, hey, just trust our algorithm, trust the AI, and you just have to hope for the best, right? And again, sometimes it can work out, sometimes not. It just comes down to testing. But this one, it changes that course of action. Here, we are getting more control, and now we can dictate the algorithm and tell it to get in front of our highest value customers. So let's go ahead and take a look at meta value rules. All right, so first, in order to find meta value rules, you have to go to your advertising settings right here. Now, unfortunately, I have not been given this update yet, but this is where you're going to find it. You're going to find something, one of the cards in here, it's going to say the value rules, and you're going to go ahead and click on it and go through the prompts right there. As with all of Meta's releases, they are a slow rollout. So just come back here periodically, check it, and see if it has been applied to your account. But let's just take a look at what they define as the value rules. So value rules allow you to express value across audiences and consolidate campaigns to drive performance in campaigns using the sales and app promotion objectives. So it's important to note that this is only available for sales and app promotions. When using value rules, your campaigns can adjust the delivery towards audiences and outcomes you value more. To use value rules, you can set up a value rule set inside of Meta Ads Manager. All right, so what the heck are they saying there? What they are saying is that if you have a very clear and precise idea of who generates you the most money, right? So let's just say you have a pretty diverse set of buyers, right? It's both genders and all sorts of age ranges. However, you know that for whatever reason, men age 40 to 55, whenever they buy from you, they have the highest lifetime value, meaning they come back and buy from you more and more and more. So if you are aware of that and you know that, then you can come in and give a value rule that says, hey, for men aged 40 to 55, increase your bid. You can increase it by 10%, 25%, 50%, 100%. It all comes down to how valuable that person or that group of people is to your business. So you do have to know your metrics and be aware of it. You don't want to just go in there blindly and say, I think this group is going to make me a lot of money, so therefore let me increase my bid. You definitely have to have some data in there beforehand. But this is very exciting because, again, let's say that even if you are already getting purchases from the age group and gender group of men aged 40 to 55, maybe that's not where the vast majority of your impressions are going, but you're willing to pay more, right? Let's say your current cost per purchase for that group is $20, but the lifetime value is $500. So you can easily increase that bid by 100%, right? Because if that doubles your acquisition cost of $40, well, guess what? You're still pocketing $500. You're getting more impressions over to that group. And so your revenue overall is going to grow. So all these things really benefit your business when you have a clear idea of who makes you money. All right, so even though I don't have the value rules yet inside of my ad account, none of them so far at this point, we are able to still see what this looks like thanks to John Loomer's blog post right here. So again, once you are inside the advertising settings right here, you will see a card that says right here, value rules, create rules to tell us how much more certain audiences are worth to your business. And then you can keep on scrolling down. When you do this, you have to check this box. It literally will not let you create a value rule unless you check this box right here that says, I understand my overall cost per result may increase when using value rules. And that makes sense because, again, the whole thing about the value rule is that you're going to tell the algorithm to increase its bid for this group of people that make you the most money. So once you do that, then you get to the section where you start creating the rule, right? So rule number 1, and in this case, the initial item selected is age, 25 to 34 and 34 to 44. And then you can add a criteria, right? Maybe you want to add gender or whatever it is. But let's just keep it simple at this example. So ages 25 to 44, increase bid by 20%. And then you want to get a very clear rule name because we're going to see this in a second. you select the rule at the ad set level once you are building your campaign, but we'll get that to that in a second. So as for how much do you increase your bid by, you're going to have to do some math, right? It depends on how valuable this group is. In my earlier example, right, if your current cost per purchase for your group is $20, but their lifetime value is $500, then you can honestly increase your bid by 100% because you have a lot of wiggle room in there in order to still make a profit. But if your cost per purchase for your group is $400 and their lifetime value is $500, right, you may want to only increase that bid by a little bit. And it is going to take a little bit of practice, right? It's not like you come in here once, 20% increase, okay, cool, I'm done. It will take some modifying to see, what happens when you use this rule, what does it do, how does it impact your campaigns, and then you can come back here and make adjustments. And so here we see an example where there's additional rules, right? It's not just age, right? So it's age 25 to 44, gender, women, and again, increase the bid by 20%. So then once you are putting together your campaign at the ad set level, you will see right here a checkbox, value rules. And then you can select the rule that you have created inside of advertising settings. And this is where it's very important for you to give it a very clear and obvious name. I actually don't think this is probably the best name right here. It just says age 25 to 44, it increased by 20%. But again, if your business is rather simple, maybe that works for you. But usually I would give it a more clear name than this. But again, assuming this is the correct rule that you want to be using, you go ahead and select that check mark, and then the algorithm will use that information and increase its bid for your desired target audience. And then once the campaign is running, you'll be able to go to the breakdown to see how this audience is performing, how it's impacting your overall campaign performance, and whether or not that rule is actually working in favor for you. All right, now let's think of a couple scenarios, but before we get to those scenarios, I do quickly want to tell you that if you are looking to have your ads professionally managed, I have some great news, because me and my team, we are currently accepting new clients right now. And even better news is that we have packages that fit all sorts of businesses. So whether you're an early stage business just getting started, or you've been around for a while and you're spending $50,000 per month, we have a program that will make sense for you. So I will have a link in the description below. Go ahead and click on it. We'll hop on a Zoom call. We'll see what the best fit is, and then we'll go from there. All right, cool. So like I said before, we can think of a couple of useful scenarios for this new update. So let's say you are a local business working in a large city, a very large metropolitan area, Los Angeles, New York, what it is. And so obviously your customers are people anywhere in the city, right? Let's say you're a smoothie stand, right? Just to make something that is very universal that a lot of people like. But that people from a certain part of the city, they're the ones that spend the most money, right? They buy the most smoothies, right? So you can say, hey, in this geographic area of the city, I want you to increase my bids over there. Another example would be if you have male and female buyers, but the males are the ones that spend more money, right? So while the females may buy at the same frequency, the males will buy more products or more items than the females, right? So I would probably say like an easy example of this is if you are in the outdoor space, right? A lot of, diversity there in terms of gender. Lots of men, lots of women enjoy outdoor activities, outdoor sports. But let's just say hypothetically that men more frequently, they like fishing more than women. So even though there's a big group that will do hiking, camping, all this kind of stuff, and they're buying all the gear there, it's the men that are more often than not that are also doing fishing on top of that. So they'll spend money on fishing gear as well as all their gear for camping and hiking. And so you can increase your bid on men in order to get more impressions and hopefully more revenue out of them. So those are just two really quick examples off the top of my head that we can see some benefits of where these rules will apply and make sense for a lot of different scenarios. Again, at the end of the day though, it really is going to come down to know your numbers. I really do not recommend setting a rule if you don't have a clear idea of who your most valuable customers are. So if you haven't done that yet, or you don't have any visibility towards that yet, definitely do that step first, and then you can go ahead and apply this value rule. So another exciting meta updates. Again, it's pretty rare that there are updates that give us more control, but this is one of those. So I very much look forward to testing it out. Once I do have it and some of the accounts that I manage, I will be sure to do a follow-up video and let you know what my results are. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you have any questions, as always, just let me know in the comments below, and I will see you next time.